So what is Dreamweaver? Well, we've already set up a site in Dreamweaver, and we might want to know what Dreamweaver is. It's the industry standard for web design. It's a great piece of software that allows you to create HTML pages, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, ASP, fluid grid layouts, and a lot of other web pages, types of web pages, scripted web pages. Okay, it allows you to connect to databases and do things with jQuery, which is really beyond the scope of this class. Enhanced responsive design. This is I don't know, in the past 5 or 6 years, a newer concept that we will address hopefully later in the class. For now, let's just create a new HTML page, and it comes up blank. All right, what can I do with this? I have a code view, a split view, and a design view. So let's talk about those really quickly. The code view demonstrates a code for you, and this is the way that we're going to be working when we get started. And this is just a demonstration. It's not a specific assignment. I just want you to kind of understand a little bit about the tool. So think of this as an orientation to Dreamweaver. But in this code view button, you will be typing things like paragraphs. This is a paragraph. And then when you open a tag, in general, you have to close a tag. So Dreamweaver will help you close your tags. It understands you opened a P, and you have to close a P. And you'll see this in the assignments that are coming next. Okay, so not only can you work in code view, you can work in a split view. And you can drag these windows apart to see what you want to see. And what does that do for you? Well, if I click over to the split view, the design view side of it, it will refresh for me and it will show me what I typed in the code in the design view. Or, let's say I just want to type in the design view. I can feel free to do that as well. Period. There we go. And I hit enter. This is another paragraph. Okay, very basic. So for now, we're going to limit this to the code view. We also have something called the property inspector down at the bottom. This is a panel that runs long ways across the bottom of the design and code view. All right. Other panels that are very important that you'll be working with are the files panel. And in the files panel, you have your managed sites and all of your sites. Here's my Dordicolas. Here's my Web Design 1 site. If you need to get into your site to do anything, you can just double click here. So if you need to redefine your site because you didn't point it to the proper local site folder, or you need to set up another server or modify the existing server, you can do so. And this is very important. Your local view, I'm looking in this panel at files on my local machine. However, I can look at files on my remote server, which I still apparently don't have set up correctly. But you would see a list of files for your remote server. The reason this is so important is that if you double click on a file on your remote server, it will download and replace your local file. Okay? So I'm going to say that again. If you double click on a remote server file, it will download and replace the copy that you have stored locally. Well, that may not be desirable, because here's what we do in Dreamweaver. We work in two places. We work with local files, and when we feel like we have a good local file, we put it up. We FTP it up to our server. So we're always working with files in two places after a while. After you create the file, you've got it in a stable place, you upload it to the server. Well, the problem comes in when students are looking at their remote server and they double click on a file because they think it's their local copy of a file. Well, guess what? That might be the old file that they had put up before. They've done more work on their local file. Guess what? They just downloaded it and overwrote their local version of the file. So that's dangerous. Other places that we're going to be in the CSS Designer tab and CSS Transitions possibly later. Also notice that there is an Insert tab. In this Insert tab, you have a lot of different types of things that you can insert. This Common, look, Common. There's something called a division, images, tables, horizontal rule, we'll be using that. There are forms. So you've seen text fields before, and email, and password fields, and buttons, and text areas, and submit buttons. Okay, so you just have a lot of different things that you can insert into your web pages. Also know that on the window menu, any of the panels that you see here now will be on the window menu. So if you're ever missing a panel, can't find a panel, where did my panel go? Watch this. The insert panel, for example. You don't see it, maybe you're going blind, or maybe you had actually closed that tab group. Okay, it's gone now. You can always get it back. Just click on Window, Insert, and it will come back. And you can take these panels, and you should be able to undock them and then redock them. So let's say that you undocked it and then closed that tab group, and you had been messing with this thing, and maybe you close your property inspector, which we will use heavily later. Guess what? Don't worry. Go to the window menu, and if we look way down here, workspace layout, compact, expanded. Okay, that's fine. We have all these options. I'm going to choose compact. And here's an expanded. Okay? But we can get our panels back. So we don't ever really lose them. We just move them around. Okay, and they used to have a nice one called Web Designer, so I don't see that one right now. Yeah, so it's gone. So they've changed some things around. Okay, so there's you a quick orientation. Now, see this insert? What's over here on this insert menu? Same kind of stuff, right? It's just in a menu form. So in another video I told you, well, Dreamweaver allows you to do the same thing several different ways. Sure does. Okay, there they are. And you can do formatting, modify. What I like to do when I get a new piece of software is look through the menus. And I like to click on things in the menus. Just try it. You're not going to break anything. Another important item that I'd like to draw your attention to is on the File menu, the Preview in Browser. This is a nice one. Look at all these different browsers that I have. Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, Opera, and I can edit browser list. Over to the right of Google Chrome, F12. Oh, wow, if I hit my F12 on my keyboard, guess what it's going to do? Because we set up earlier in a previous video the testing server. When I hit F12, it will take my current file that I'm working on, upload it to the server, and then launch it in the Google Chrome browser. So I will be able to see my real live page. So that's pretty nice. That's powerful. You also have this ability to validate current document. We're going to be doing a lot of validation in this class, and I don't typically tell students about this, but I think it's a nice option. It's the same validation engine that we use online. So I'm going to show you how to use the W3C validator online and through this tool. And I want you to be comfortable with both options. Okay, as I said, there are several ways to do the same thing. What's this? Preview? Look, that's just like clicking the File Preview, okay, and getting those same options. Preview in Google Chrome. There it is again, F12. So without even going up through this long menu all the way down here and then finding Google Chrome, you could just do it from this little world, this little Earth symbol. Okay, this is file management, so you can put your files up. So imagine I'm working on this file, I save it, then I can put it. And this is the preferred way of uploading files to Dreamweaver. And the reason is it will put it in the right location. What I mean by that is if you have several files and folders, several levels deep in your site, you don't have to worry about dragging it to the right folder location. You can just put it and it will go where it needs to go and it will look correct. Okay, so there's your quick overview. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but we'll cover it later in another video. For now, just kind of look around and just notice some things that you see. Now this looks pretty basic, but I assure you there's a lot more to this. This is just the very tip of the iceberg for this application. We're not going to go all into it, but I'm going to show you some pretty cool stuff as we go through the course, and you'll start to see that, wow, I don't have to type everything out in the code. So I think that'll be nice for you later. But for now, have some patience. In week 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to learn a little bit of HTML and CSS, and then after we know how to hand code this, we'll start using the tool. Maybe I'll introduce you to the tool along the way as well. But I just want you to get a firm foundation. Okay, that's the end.